Disneyland Paris is slashing prices for paid fastpass. Disney sends a survey to Magic Key holders to find out how they're feeling. Magic Mountain joins Universal Studios in requiring proof of vaccination for guests. A mysterious tent has appeared on the north side of the Mickey and Friends parking structure. And we have another confirmation of the one ride per attraction limit on Genie Plus. And we're going to talk about all this next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Fresh Baked. We've got a lot of news to cover today, and we're going to be starting with news that Disneyland Paris is cutting the prices of their paid FastPass Premier Access. For those unaware, this is basically the pilot program for the Lightning Lane Genie Plus type service that we have here. It's Genie Plus without the actual Genie. It's just the Lightning Lane, the Premier Access. When the program launched a few months ago, it included rides like Big Thunder Mountain, Peter Pan's Flight, Ratatouille, Hyperspace Mountain, and Tower of Terror. Prices for each of these were flexible based on demand, much like Lightning Lane, and they ranged between $9 and $17 per person per attraction. But a few days ago, these prices were reduced to $6 at the low end and $14 at the high end. That's a pretty deep cut. And these were across the board changes, not just for the less popular attractions. These are for all attractions. Now, it goes without saying that these prices were intended to be flexible, that they were supposed to change based on demand, but the change was supposed to be between $9 and $17. That is what's changed, is that the range has changed from to 7 to 14. But I think it's plain to see with them doing this that if pricing is meant to be based on demand and the prices were reduced, then the inference is that demand is low, at least in Disneyland Paris anyway. If demand was higher, then we should be at no worse than the same range we're at, or even possibly higher. Maybe it goes to 10 to 18 instead of 9 to 17. But they have gone down. The range has gone down. That notes that demand is low for paid FastPass at Disneyland Paris. And this reconciles with some of the rumors and kind of whispers that I've been hearing, while this program has been in its initial launch phase. What this means for Lightning Lane in the US remains to be seen. This price reduction at Disneyland Paris, it happened before Disney could even get Genie Plus off the ground, which could be one of the reasons why the prices they announced, recently that made public were lower than a lot of people were expecting. Maybe. But as I often say, this is going to be fascinating to watch. I'm really curious about how this plays out. To watch Disney's decision-making process and to see how the Disneyland marketplace reacts to those decisions. And I make that observation or that distinction because in the past, I would think it would be safe to describe the Disneyland marketplace's appetite before to be endless, bottomless. But it's a new world today. We're in a new environment, and I'm wondering if maybe there is a limit to the appetite of the Disneyland fan. This is a survey sent to a Magic Key holder recently. Apparently, Disney would like to know more about how Magic Key holders feel. The questions were triggered because the key holder said his or her recent Disneyland trip was just okay. Among the reasons that this survey is supposing this to be the case is limited availability due to reservations, the inability to make a reservation through the app, that the system is just too complicated, their preferred date was sold out, or that they needed to reserve a date too far in advance. The inference with that one being that if you have to reserve a bunch of dates in advance, you can't do anything now. You can't reserve today, which is the whole point of a Dream Key. And it's literally a checklist of the most common complaints for Magic Key holders in the past few weeks. Then they wonder if the Disney company or the Magic Key program really understands their customers, if Disney appreciates key holders, or if key holders are proud of being a part of the program. I'm kind of surprised that they're asking these questions in such a direct way, but I'm glad that they are, because it gives them a more accurate representation of what's happening in the parks, what's happening with the Disneyland guest. Personally, I'm happy to be a Magic Key holder, and I'm still 100% in love with Disneyland, but I would have liked to have taken this survey, I think. Now, let's pretend you did get the survey. Leave us your answers. I want to hear what your responses would be to some of those questions in the comments below. Let's next go north to the city of Valencia, where Magic Mountain has joined Universal in requiring either proof of vaccination or proof of a recent negative COVID test. Now, this isn't exactly a voluntary move on Magic Mountain's part, so it's not exactly news. They kind of have to. Same thing that the Universal Studios had to. This is per the County of Los Angeles. But I did want to report on it just the same because this happened 5 days ago. And I have not really heard anything about, people's experiences with having to do that. Now, mind you, I don't follow Universal or Magic Mountain, in social media or anything like that. But some of my friends do, and I just haven't heard anything like that. No complaints, no judgments. Perhaps I'm missing it. I'm not sure, but it sure has been quiet on that front for the last 5 days. So again, Fresh Baked, I ask you, you tell me, what has been your experience, if any, if you've gone to Universal or Magic Mountain recently? What has been your experience? What has been happening when you go to the parks in the last few days, if you have? Here's something interesting. A tent has appeared on the north side of the Mickey and Friends parking structure. Now, I'm sure a lot of imaginations are running wild right now on what this can be for. For example, there was a tent like this here a few years ago, and if memory serves, they were keeping Main Street electrical parade floats there. And we have had that rumor that the electrical parade was coming back sometime in 2022. So, it's not too early for that. But I'm not sure that this is the case this time, if that themed wagon on the truck behind the tent is any indication. I've never seen that before, and it's been suggested to me that it's for the Merriest Nights Christmas party, and that the tent would be a staging area for this and, many other things needed for the event. And this makes perfect sense, actually, as there is sure to be, a bunch of props needed for the show that don't need to be stored locally all the time. You need a place to put them temporarily. We'll keep an eye on it, though, to see if anything interesting pops up in or around that tent, crossing our fingers that it's something a little bit more interesting than Merriest Nights props. But stay tuned to Fresh Baked on that. And finally, it's been reported a few times that one of the limiting conditions of the Genie Plus program for Lightning Lane was that you could ride each attraction only one time. You could use Lightning Lane, I should say, only one time per attraction. If you wanted to ride it again after using it, you had to go on standby. But many have said that this is not the case, that it's not true, because it's not anywhere in Disney's, literature or posted anywhere on a website or, anywhere for Magic Key. And while that is true, the reason why we reported this initially and why others have as well is because there have been, people in the know, media who have had access to these events or have had access to information. We have another such report. This is coming from Scott Gustin on Twitter, and he's saying that though there is still nothing in writing on the Disneyland website, it definitely is the case. There is one ride per attraction per day. And I have no doubt that this is the case. I just wanted to put this out there to sort of further that idea. And it's not surprising to me. I actually thought that this would be the case to begin with. It would have surprised me more if they did make it unlimited. And actually, there's probably a lot of details about the Genie Plus program that haven't been specifically stated in any of the literature or on any website for Disney. But I'm sure in a long enough timeline, everything will be, completely, revealed and ironed out before everything goes live. And then, by the way, no word yet on when Genie Plus will show up at Disneyland. We have a start date for Walt Disney World, but nothing for Disneyland yet. Though my understanding is still it's going to be soon. My guess is end of the month, early November, possibly. And matter of fact, we still haven't even seen any signage yet. Walt Disney World got all their Lightning Lane signage already. That was a couple weeks ago, I think. We haven't seen anything like that at Disneyland. That's the thing I'll be keeping my eye out for, most notably, because as soon as we see that signage, that's when we can start to expect a start date coming soon. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's Fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, be safe out there, everybody. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked.